Hi, everybody. Welcome to our Leader Livecast today from the Global Wellness Summit. I am trying to type it in. As you can see, we have a very special guest today. We have the CEO of Forbes Travel Guide, Filip Boyen. And talk about a leader livecast. That is a complete leader, helping us all out of this travel industry situation. So there we go. I'm going to see who's requesting to join. Let me tell you a little bit about Forbes Travel Guide. Did you realize that Forbes Travel Guide is really considered the global authority on luxury hospitality? They send out inspectors, professional inspectors that go around the world to assess hotels, restaurants, and spas based on 900 criteria. And they determine the star ratings. So it's amazing what they know. So in 2020, there are 9 new 5-star hotels in the U.S., 70 around the world. And I'll tell you, it's from Orlando to Tokyo. It's from the Maldives to Bora Bora. So I'm just going to see if Forbes Travel Guide, if they join, they have to request to join me. So you have to ask. Whenever you're in the industry, Swell Public Relations has been in the hospitality industry for our whole career. And there's nothing like a 5-star experience. I mean, I personally have been able to work with resorts from Turkey to Tahiti, as we like to say. And, you know, when you think of a world without the ability to travel, it is unthinkable. And I don't know if you realize that travel is the #1 employer in the world. So when this pandemic hit, literally, it froze the travel industry in its tracks. The whole thing. Cruises, airlines, hotels. So what do we do? And I am so thrilled at lots of things that Forbes is doing. We're looking really for them to request to go live with us. And I know my team is working on that. I'll tell you some of the ways that Forbes is helping, and Filip will tell us even more when he gets on. But one thing they're doing is you should Google Hospitality Strong. It's a website with seminars on service and how it can adapt in a time like this. I am telling you, I was so touched. It's like going beyond please and thank you. It's your turn to shine, emotional engagement, looking through a jeweler's lens. So in other words, the details matter. So small details are where it's at. And I saw the first of their series, and I think 10,000 people were listening. So let's see. Let's see if Filip will request to go live with me. I'm waiting. And also, some of the things that they're doing is they worked with New York Presbyterian Hospital to put together a living document of back-to-work best practices for hotels. And I'll go over the ones that I want to wait for the juicy ones for Filip, but they're doing health and hygiene so that they're giving actual guidelines for hotels to make sure that they offer employees with personal protective equipment. And they say that a mask and gloves should just be part of your uniform. And also, when you take someone's temperature when they come into your hotel, that can be a pretty uncomfortable thing, right? What if it's too high and you can't let them in? What is your plan B for that? Where do you do it? Do you jam traffic in the porte cochere? Do you have a private room to do it? These are realities that everybody has to face. And also, if you see something, say something. So say that an employee wants to power through and yet their fellow employers notice that they're not feeling too well. They kind of have to say something about it. So that's a hard one. But how do you lead your way through that? And then you think about how you always want to get a baseball cap or some sort of wearable takeaway from a great hotel. Now it's going to be the mask, right? We're going to see how prevalent those are. And social distancing. Yesterday I took Memorial Day and drove to I drove to Ojai in California, and I saw restaurants where social distancing was taking place. But it's a decision for you to go in there and take that chance. So these are guidelines for how to do that, how to stagger the workplace. I'm wondering if we should turn on and turn off again. Would that help to get Filip connected here? Let's see. Filip, are you there? Filip. Request to join. Sorry about this. Every time you do a leader, hit the smiley faces on the bottom to see if you can. Okay, here we go. Here we go. I think we're doing it. There we go. Got it. There we are. Good. It always works. You just have to be patient. And
Hi, this is better.
there you go, Filip. I knew you'd figure it out. It's the
Yeah,
first time's always tough.
I couldn't connect for some reasons. How are you, Kim?
I'm doing great. And enchanté to you, Mr. Boyen. I understand you also share something with me that you fell in love with Bora Bora and you worked there for a while in
I
Tahiti.
did. I did. I was there from 97 to 99.
Oh my
And, uh,
goodness. I opened the Bora Bora Nui, if you
oh,
remember
yes,
that. Yeah.
yes.
And
So
12 years.
you worked for Laurent Bessou.
Laurent Bassou, I sure
Of
did.
course. I'm
And
still in touch with him.
well, I knew we'd have some friends in common, and I just love when people call. They go at the end of their phone call. They'll go bisou bisou. And how do you say kiss? How do you bisou bisou is kiss, and then nana or something like that.
Wonderful. Yeah,
But once you've been to Bora Bora, you know what luxury is, right?
absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, I have great memories of Bora Bora because first of all, the natural beauty is just incredible, right?
Yeah.
I still remember we had a little house, we had a private island about a kilometer from the main island of Bora Bora.
Right.
First of all, the interview process was very interesting. So I was working in Moscow at the time. I was from 92 to 97, I was in Moscow, and therefore I deserved, of course, to go to Bora Bora
Yes,
after
you did.
gold. And I had to interview with a Japanese company, and everything went fine until I arrived in Tokyo and had to get on the Narita Express. And I couldn't find the train, so I came 2 hours late for my interview, which, as you know, in Japan is not such a good idea, right?
Verboten, right?
So I had to work hard to make that up because I really wanted that job. So then afterwards, for dinner, then we went for karaoke. We had a fantastic time, and I got the job, right?
Well, if he takes you to karaoke in Japan, then you're in. That's it. But
I know, I know.
But I think you were at the Lagoon Resort, Bora Bora Lagoon Resort in its heyday, because I will tell you, I took media all around to those beautiful islands. It makes me
Right.
emotional when I think about it. But so many people are like, but I want to see the Bora Bora Lagoon Resort. And sometimes I just have the boat pull over. I'm like, here, go see it. Because everybody wanted, your
Yep.
reputation was that well known,
Absolutely. No, it was a great hotel. And obviously there were some advantages because I remember going to the interview with Orient Express, who owned the hotel. And I said to them, I looked at my contract and I said to them, well, where's my company car? Well, they said, you're on a private island, but what you do have is a speedboat.
That's
I
right.
said, okay, all right, that's fine with me. So it
Well,
was great. And I had 2 fantastic years there.
yeah.
And I still remember those 7 kinds of blue, the 7 shades of blue in the ocean. I mean, absolutely incredible. And as you know, because you live there, you do a lot of activity to keep yourself sane.
That's
And
right.
keep yourself sane.
That's
And the
right.
diving is fantastic. The water sports are incredible. And the culture is just beautiful. And the people are so charming and warm. And it doesn't matter that they're not the fastest in the world. Uh, they have the ability to make guests relax, right? And they have the
Relax.
ability to make their guests feel good in the hotel. And that's what we
But
at Forbes Travel Guide are all about, right?
I know it is.
We are
And I
all
will tell
about
you,
how
Filip,
does the hotel make the guest feel, right?
that's right.
We have
That's right.
we inspect 900 standards between hotels, restaurants, and spas, and 75% of those standards are based on the service aspect and the emotional aspect of service, right?
Yep.
And that's why it's hard to achieve Forbes 5-star and 4-star recognition, because it's very difficult. We are all about gracious anticipatory service, right? And that is
Gracious what, Filip? We didn't hear you. Gracious what?
gracious, gracious and anticipatory service,
Oh, okay.
and personalized with a feeling of personalization,
That's
right?
right.
We always say, if we make a guest work or think harder, luxury disappears, right?
Yep.
Because let me give you an example. You go to a hotel and everything works perfect. You arrive, the door of your car is open. You have a fantastic doorman, big smile, warm welcome. You get to reception, same thing. They look straight into your eyes. They're not looking at their computer. Straight
Right.
away, there's a relationship being formed. There is interaction. Everything is beautiful.
Yep.
Then the luggage guy comes in with the luggage. Everything is fine. They take you up to your room. They give you room orientation. And then you're going to unpack your luggage. And the opening to the zipper is on the wrong side. Okay? It might be a little detail, but this is exactly what I mean. Don't make the guest work or think harder, right?
Yeah.
And then you think, as a guest, I had such a wonderful arriving experience. The doorman treated me wonderfully, the front office staff wonderfully, everything was great. And then a little slip up. And that's why quality and extraordinary service is only achieved when there is great communications between all departments.
And I will tell, we'll get to your best practices, but I do want to say that what I see from Forbes training and philosophy, it's like the duck that's so peaceful on top of the water, gliding along, but the little feet are underneath that you don't even see. And
Oh, yeah.
so when you go to a place like Bora Bora or the Maldives or any of these amazing experiences, all those details are taken care of, and then you can have that personal cultural connection, right?
Absolutely right. Absolutely right. And that is so important. And as you know, Kim, it's in the little things. Luxury is in the little things, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
People have to be thoughtful. For example, I go to hotels, and last year, or in the last 18 months, I visited 330 hotels, right, of Forbes all over the world. Because it's important for me to get out there, to get the feel of the hotel, to meet the people, and to basically say thank you for their business, and also how can we further support them, and how can we as a company be better and even increase our services to them. And I arrive in rooms sometimes. I must say they look after me very well. I don't know
I
exactly why.
think they would, yeah.
And then in some hotels, I have a bottle of champagne, and I have a bottle of great wine, and I have a cocktail set up because everybody seems to know that I like my gin and tonics. And then I have a fruit display and flowers and chocolates. And then the next morning, I arrive at 11 o'clock at night. They know that I'm leaving at 7 o'clock in the morning. Why do I have all this alcohol in my room? And then the next morning, I say to the general manager at 7 o'clock for breakfast, now, how did you know that I was an alcoholic, right? Yeah. And that's what I mean by being thoughtful. If you arrive at 11 at night, they know you're leaving at 7. Put something in there, small, thoughtful, local,
Yeah.
something
Yeah.
typical that you can enjoy, a little thing that I can take home and that I can remember the hotel by, right? But it's just about the level of detail. For example, I stayed in Turkey at the Raffles Hotel in Singapore. This is a great story. I will never forget it, and I've told it 1,000 times. So I was visiting all our hotels, all our clients in Istanbul. I stayed at a beautiful hotel by the Bosphorus. I checked out in the morning. checked out in the morning, and left my luggage in the hotel and said, listen, I have meetings all day. I will come back by 6 o'clock tonight, pick up my luggage, and then I go to the next hotel. At 3 o'clock in the afternoon, I get a text from my butler at Raffles, Istanbul. And she says, dear Mr. Boyen, we have taken the liberty of moving your luggage already from your hotel to Raffles, so you can come directly here.
Oh my
Will
goodness.
Will you allow me to unpack your luggage?
Ugh.
Of course, I said yes. So at 7 o'clock, I arrive in Raffles. I go into my room. Fantastic, sweet, beautiful. I walk into my walk-in closet. All my suits are pressed. All my shirts are laundered and pressed. My shoes are polished. And you would expect that of great butler service. But then I go into the bathroom and there's a little thank card, beautifully handwritten. And it says, dear Mr. Boyen, while I was unpacking your luggage, I noticed that your toothpaste was running low. So I took the liberty of replacing it by, those are the little things I'm talking about. And how much did it cost? This cost probably $3 for the toothpaste, 5 minutes of writing, but it's a memory that will stay with you for the rest of your life. And that's what I mean by detailed service.
And I will tell you, if we try to imagine a world without those experiences, it's a sad place. So travel has opened our eyes. And I want to commend you. I've been doing my homework on everything Forbes Travel Guide has been doing since the shutdown. So I won't talk about it. You tell me what Forbes has been doing to say, nope, we're not going to sit here and roll up in a ball. We're going to take action. What are some of the things you've been doing?
Well, first of all, my team came up with a fantastic idea. Very shortly after the crisis hit, they said, now that there is thousands and thousands of employees that are furloughed and that are laid off, why don't we come up with a series of complementary training webinars in service excellence?
Right.
And the reasons for that are simple. We want to keep furloughed and laid off employees. We want to keep them connected with their passion, which is service. We want them to continue to learn. And what's more, we want them to be ready for when the recovery starts gathering steam, right?
Right.
Because we want them to get their jobs back. And if they can't get their original jobs back, it will help them to get another job in another establishment. Because if you can say, we've been trained by Forbes, we've been doing the series of webinars with Forbes, I think you have a better chance, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And those webinars have been incredibly successful with thousands and thousands of people joining every week. I think we are in week 6 now. And it basically handles all the aspects of extraordinary service. Jeff Wielkopolen, who is our EVP training, who is an incredibly not only great at communication and people skills, but he's really inspiring. And I feel that if you want to be a good trainer, you have to be able to inspire.
He gets rave reviews. I've been reading rave reviews.
It's incredible. And if we see the background and if we see the feedback on those webinars, it makes you smile. It makes you happy because it's something we can do for thousands and thousands of people. Of course, there's work involved, but our training department is so happy to do it. And you feel that they are really hyped up by doing these webinars. So I think that is the most important. Those webinars, we will continue them. We will continue them until such time that really the recovery is gathering steam. Yeah.
And I have to tell you, Filip, I'm reading the comments below, and people are saying, I love the webinars. We're going to tune in. Thank you, Forbes, for what you're doing. Excellent information. So you need to know that feedback because it's an effort. I know it's an effort, what you're doing.
That's great. Thank you.
Now, tell us about the best practices, Filip, if you don't mind. I will tell you what touched my heart about them. But what are some of the key topics in your best practices living document?
Well, the best practices, where did that idea come from is we saw, of course, all the health and safety procedures and protocols come out of the big brands, right?
Right.
I think started with Hilton, and then Marriott followed, and all the big brands sent out their COVID-19 protocols, health and safety protocols.
Right.
And of course, the most important thing when we reopen hotels is the safety of the employees and the guests. There is absolutely no argument with that. Number one priority.
Employees and guests, not just guests, employees, right?
Employees and guests, absolutely. Yeah. But it doesn't mean that there is now new health and safety protocols. That does not mean, and that is no excuse for not giving an extraordinary guest experience, right? And this is how we were thinking. We said, okay, there is plenty of those health and safety protocols out there. They are good, they are professional. That is not what hotels are looking for. They have them. Every brand does them. What we were thinking is, how do we support and help hotels to create still, despite all of those health and safety protocols, a fantastic experience for the guest, right?
Interesting. Yeah.
And believe me, it is possible. It is possible. And this is why those back to work best practices of Forbes Travel Guide include service hints with every best practice, right? Where we tell hotels, listen, and believe me, Kim, we never tell hotels what we do and what to do, right? Because you know Forbes Travel Guide, what we do is we verify luxury. Why do we do it? We do it to champion, to support, and to celebrate all those with a passion for extraordinary service. That's why we do it. So we are not in a position to tell hotels what to do, but we want to help them. And we want to give them some guidelines and some tips on how to create a wonderful guest experience. I had a call this afternoon with Jeff, with our EVP training. Mm-hmm. He just stayed at a hotel in the States, which has just reopened. And he says, I was blown away. I was blown away. Because if you see those protocols appearing online, you think, my God, this is going to be impossible to get a proper guest experience. But he was in the hotel. He was met by a doorman. Social distancing was perfectly respected, but he was met with a doorman. He had a proper personalized check-in. He was shown to his room. He had room service in the room. He had housekeeping service every single day. So it is possible. And those practices, in conjunction with, of course, the New York Presbyterian Hospital, as you know, they checked that from a health and safety point, we were absolutely perfect. But I think that is what hotels are looking for. Give us help and give us ideas and give us tips. And
let me tell you what, yes. Philip, sorry to interrupt, but I want to tell you, I was so touched when I saw it just wasn't a list of how to clean, how to put hand sanitizer. No, your two topics that touched me so much was first communication. Because it's just like when you're on a plane and you're delayed. If the pilot never says anything, you go crazy. But if they're communicating, saying, hey, here's the update, and that's how this has to be communicated, right?
Communication is, and it's even pre-arrival communication that is going to be key, right? Because people are looking for a safe experience. There is reduced confidence with everybody. So they're going to be very worried before they even book. So as soon as the pre-arrival communication starts, and it goes, not only is it about safety and people telling you, you are going to be absolutely welcome, we're going to give you a great experience. Here is what we're doing in terms of health and safety. We're going to keep you absolutely safe. But the concierge departments play a very important role now, because they have to inform and communicate with the guests and the travel advisors. That's right. They have to communicate what is open. Is the destination open? Are the museums open? Are the restaurants open? Are the bars open? Are all the attractions open? Because guests, of course, are not going to come to Rome or Milan to just stay in the hotel. So the Clé d'Or already, the organization of the top concierges in the world, the Clé d'Or, it's called, the Golden Keys.
Clé d'Or, yes, we know.
And they are already on the case they've already started months ago to lay out procedures for their members, how to inform travel advisors, how to involve the guests, etc. So that for me is very important. And then what's even more important is that the hotel is creative enough and innovative enough to bring some humor into this whole experience. Because as we all know, Kim, humor disarms tension, right? And guests are going to be completely, I'm not saying completely, they're going to be nervous, they're going to be tense because they don't know what to expect, right? So the more fun we can make about all these protocols, and obviously, as I said, safety is paramount. There is no messing around with that. But if we can present all that in a funny and light-hearted way, it's going to help tremendously, relaxing the clients and helping to give them a great experience.
And I will tell you, your tips on well-being, you know, in the Global Wellness Summit and in our whole industry, Sammy Guarini just said hello. We met you through him, so we're very happy with his luxury spa equipment. But I will tell you that you have interlaced well-being into your tips because people are so stressed out. And you even said, if you can't open a spa, then make a little relaxation meditation area in the guest room, right?
Absolutely. It's totally important. I mean, and wellness is becoming such a big part of the experience today. And people come to look after themselves, look after their spirits, look after their bodies. So hotels, like you said, even if the spa is not open. But you know, Kim, I have been blown away by the creativity and the innovation that has been going on in the hotels. Every day we're getting information from hotels. We have done this, we have done that. And it's amazing. It's absolutely incredible because this industry, and that makes you proud to be part of it because they are so creative, so resilient, and they love innovating, right? And if they're put in a position like now, I mean, it's just mind blowing. It's mind blowing.
Well, you mentioned virtual reality. You mentioned sleep guided meditation. You even say bedtime stories. If you can have a little thing that can put their earphone in and have Absolutely. A bedtime story, isn't that great?
Yeah, I can imagine. I would love it. I would absolutely love it. No, it's great.
Well, Filip, we don't want to take too much of your time. We always promise 10 minutes and then we go on and on, but it's because this is so rich. Your content is so rich and your leadership. I'm so thrilled to see these, you know, people who love hospitality have a resource. So what tips, what brings you joy? What can you share with your fellow hospitality industry veterans to cheer them up right now?
Well, listen, the recovery has started, right? So there's an incredible amount of positiveness, of energy, of enthusiasm out there, right? I mean, Italy just announced they're opening to foreign tourists on the 3rd of June already. Wow. EU, but still, it's a great start, right? Yeah. Germany is opening up, Austria is opening up, a lot of countries, Portugal, Spain, they're all opening up in the month of July. So it's going to be very exciting. And now you see this whole mindset change from, oh my God, to wow, here is our opportunity. Let's rock and roll. Let's go, right? What has given me a lot of joy while this was going on is, first of all, the incredible graciousness and the incredible generosity of our industry, right? If I just mention a few things, for example, Claridge's in London was the first hotel to open their doors for health workers, complimentary rooms for health workers. Right. Four Seasons, New York, same, open for health workers. The Barclay Hotel in London, they have organized an amazing drive-through experience for all frontline workers. They can get complimentary drinks and snacks all day long at the Barclay. All you need to do, and this is for police staff, for ambulance staff, for health workers, for everybody. Incredible. And then, of course, the big brands like Hilton, Marriott, etc., Accor, hundreds of thousands of complimentary room nights, not only for health workers, but also for the homeless people, right?
Wow.
And then if I think of companies that really invest in their company culture and in their employees, Wynn Resorts in Vegas, Matt Maddox, who is the CEO, decided early on he was going to invest totally in his staff culture. That meant he has kept on 12,000 staff full time,
Wow.
12 staff. He's paid them not only their full salaries, but also their tips. So he has spent $250 million so far on salaries and tips.
Wow.
Dorchester Collection, Chris Cowdery, CEO, he's decided all my staff, I want all my staff to stay. I invest in my staff culture and I will pay them their full salaries all the way through. These
Wow.
are amazing things.
Those are.
And Tim, I strongly believe that people that have invested in their service culture over the years are going to be the winners. And I'll tell you why. I believe that a lot of travelers that are going to make their first trip are going to want to go back to familiar places where they've had fantastic experiences in the past, where they trust the people to
They
take
trust
care
them.
of them,
Yeah.
to care for them, and to look after their safety, right? I strongly believe that people will, on their first trip especially, will go to the hotels, the resorts, the spas, the cruise lines that they are familiar with and that have given them amazing, memorable experiences in the past. Those will be the winners.
And I
And
will
that's
tell you,
why I have
I
so
will,
much respect for hotels that are investing in their culture. And even through a difficult, prolonged time like we have now, continue to do that and continue to build on that. Can you imagine the staff loyalty they have?
oh, it's amazing. And I will tell you, even because for every great experience, there's someone who hasn't had such a great one, right? That might be out of work without a promise right now. But those classes that you guys are heading up, I think even if you're not a five-star luxury property, they can understand why they chose to run an inn, run an Airbnb, run any kind of a ground operator, a tour guide, right? Can be
Totally.
inspired about the little things, don't you think?
Totally. These classes are for all workers, for all service workers around the world, and not only for hospitality. I mean, in the meantime, with Forbes Travel Guides, we've also gone into a lot of verticals. So we are training retail, we are training high-end residential, we're training care homes, we're training clubs and sports clubs. I mean, service excellence is universal, right? Anybody that is in contact with, in personal contact with clients needs service excellence. So this is a great opportunity for us. We also train in cruise ships already.
Right.
We take that on board and we try and expand our offering by as much as we can. For example, our training department in the last 2 months, 3 months, has put 60 hours of training online because we know in the foreseeable future it's going to be difficult for our trainers to travel around the world and to give in-person training because airports are still closed, airlines are not flying. So what did Jeff and his team do? They took the bull by the horns. They said, okay, let's go online. And they have created 60 hours of online service excellence training, which is just mind blowing. And
Isn't
you know,
that?
they deliver it is just incredible. The inspiration that they leave with everybody is just incredible.
Well, I want to tell you something about, I work in the hotel industry my entire career. I have a real big crush on it. I love it. But when I see your enthusiasm and your passion, I can imagine the kind of GM you were. So it's good that you take that on the ground level knowledge and then put that into play as a leader. So we thank you so much. I mean, we could go on and talk to you. We're going to have you on the Global Wellness Summit podcast. But in the meanwhile, we have gotten little notes from Chile, Argentina, Lisbon, Belarus, Turkey. Everybody's saying hello. They're so eager to get going. So
Great.
so I just want to say to everyone, if you want to find out more, we're going to post this on the Global Wellness Summit page. You can find the interview there if you want to share it with your friends. We're also leading a masterclass, my partner Darlene Fisk and I, on coming out of the pandemic and how to communicate. We'll be taking some pointers from your tips, Filip. And I just want to say right now, from the bottom of my heart, I don't know if it's proper French, but bisous, bisous, and merci beaucoup for.
Bisous. Toi aussi. Thank you so much, Kim. Thank you for having me.
Keep up the good work, okay?
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Okay. Au revoir.
Bye.